Hello, my friends. Welcome to me, your host, Christian Watson. So, Tom Macdonald, one of my favorites, one of the most irreverent scourges, I should say, of woke nonsense, has just released a song called Clown Lord. I have no idea what he's saying, or what the song says, because I haven't watched it yet. So I'm going to watch it here in real time with you guys, and we're going to see what Tom Macdonald does in this brilliant piece of his. So let's see. Let's just get to it. Let's just see. And as I always say, please like, subscribe, and share. And look, this is not a reaction channel. I am a political commentary channel and a philosophy channel. I talk about politics, principles, life, things of that sort. But there will be some times where I find opportunities to interweave philosophy into reaction, so I would do that. So if you come here and you like my content in this video, please stay and subscribe for my other stuff, because that really helps me bring you more stuff that's going to enlighten you and edify you and help you, I think. Give you value. So, without further ado, let's see what Tom Macdonald's talking about.
You worried about leaving a better planet for our kids? How about leaving better kids for our planet? Entire generation offended and everything, getting mad that a human thinks all.
You are worried about leaving a better planet for our kids. How about leaving better kids for our planet? Do you understand what he's saying? See, let's assume that social justice pretension, that wokeness is like a tree, and he is the hatchet man. He's taking his hatchet and he's striking right now at the tree, just trying to beat it down and trying to get the bark off, and he's just striking. He didn't even wait. He didn't even do the hatchet man's warm up where he twirls around the axe and the hatchet. And no, he's like striking, just going straight for the center, going straight for the roots, trying to cut it out. My friends, if you embed certain ideas into posterity, they will take it out and continue it into different generations. If you teach people a certain thing, and those are the principles they understand the world through, those principles will manifest into actual things, whether it's policy, whether it's business practices, or whatever, which will fundamentally affect the world. It's called habituation. You see what he's saying here? Let's rewind that over again.
You worried about leaving a better planet for our kids? How about leaving better kids for our planet?
Man, that is the truth. Be careful what you put in people's heads, because it could eventually manifest. Let's continue.
Generation offended and everything, getting mad that a human thinks all lives matter. We don't need black or white or left or right. What we need is common sense. We need balance. We're all in the same boat. Why you trying to make holes? If they sink, we sink. This is madness.
We are all a part of the human family. We all have equality in our human being, even if we have different skills, different interests, different livelihoods on the surface. But at the fundamental root of our humanity, we are all human beings. None of us is less human than other. So we need to understand that. We're all in this boat together. We are all in this together, as High School Musical would say back in the day. But that's the truth. That's the ontological truth, man. And when you are offended by everything, and then you operate in the world through that lens of sensitivity, and you get into a position of power, you could potentially cut off people's free expression, because you, when you were a kid, were taught, hey, this is offensive, this is erasure, this is all kind of critical race theory or social justice nonsense, which numbs the mind, which blinds us from what Zara Yacob considered the light of the truth, that Ethiopian philosopher, which completely and utterly just takes us down a path by which we cannot honestly estimate this world, and we cannot honestly live in this reality. Tom Macdonald is giving you guys some wisdom, and you're going to sit here and look at how he looks and mock him for that, and you're not going to take the wisdom. Take this wisdom, man. Take this wisdom. I'm getting excited, man. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm offended that you're offended by me taking offense. You can't build a wall. Why does your house have a fence? I believe in two genders. I'm not mad at the rest. I'm just confused when a dude has a beard and some bread.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my Lord. Oh, Tom's gonna get canceled for this one, man. Okay, look. Regardless of your opinion on the gender debate, I don't think someone's being offensive when they believe that there are two genders. I don't think they're being offensive. Now, does this... And actually, for transgenderism to even exist, you kind of have to believe there are two genders. Because transgenderism is simply the quality of vacillating from one gender to another, is it not? So, I mean, even by these people's own standards, you kind of have to have certain binaries for their conditions to exist. So, what he's saying here, even if you don't agree with it entirely, makes sense to me. Let's get going.
We won't always agree. No, I don't hate all police. No, I don't think that the system's racist. I just think the system hates people. I think.
When you have a kid, I forgot where this was, somewhere in Missouri, getting a white guy with his fiance who's having a baby on the way, and he's out in the middle of the hallway, and the cops, all white cops, screaming at the white guy saying, "Get on your knees, I will shoot you, I will shoot you," and he pulls up his pants so he's not embarrassed when he gets up, and they put bullets all in him. That's not a system that is indicative of hatred based on race. That's a system that's indicative of passions overflowing and arrogance enforced by the bullet. Arrogance enforced by the gun. Arrogance! The problem with the police system in America is not racism, it's arrogance. Unchecked arrogance. Some brilliant stuff here. We're not even a minute into the video. It's going to be a long video, man.
Fighting violence with more violence is what they want. Viruses and riots, people dying, we won't stay home. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation. This is setting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud, painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can be around you. Anyone who knows me knows my feet don't fit in clown shoes. When I was a child, the only races that we hated were the ones that we ran and didn't win. Then we stopped playing with each other, started hating on each other, started noticing the color of our skin. Christian.
When I was a child, the only race that we hated were the ones that we didn't win. So he's saying the mindset, the cultural mindset of when I was a kid had much to do with how we test ourselves to be better people, but it totally turned into an erasure of us being better people and an emphasis on our arbitrary characteristics. Do you hear this?
Atheists, immigrants, patriots, we love the country, but we are not saving it. Wages don't raise to the rate of inflation, and half of the country hates all of the nation. It's funny that we think the world owes us something. All the phones got smart, but the people so dumb. We care more about the likes on a.
Hold on, keep going, man, keep going. We care more about the likes on a selfie than our own parents. The sort of capturing the ensnarement of the self and the transference into the digital self, which has been written on in academic literature for a very long time, which numbs our ability to pay attention to a subject for a very long time. For example, the digital self could not read a book like this and be consistent with it. The digital self would skim read and not understand a damn thing this book says. So the digital self is also an impersonal and becomes an emotionless entity. Why do you think there are people on dating apps swiping right and swiping left and evaluating other human beings on the basis of their physical characteristics rather than looking into their humanity, rather than gleaning into their soul and trying to understand them at a very, 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 very deep level? He's preaching some truth right here. I wasn't ready for this. We are destroying ourselves by adhering to these false concepts. Keep preaching, Tom. Keep preaching, man. Keep going, man.
Always agree. No, I don't hate all police. No, your thoughts and opinions and facts, and they are not defining my reality.
I love this setup here, by the way. He's basically showing the childishness of all of these thought forms. It's beautiful.
No, I think picking sides divides is probably what has got us here. United States is great regardless. That's what we've forgotten here. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation. This is setting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud, painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can be around you. Anyone who knows me knows my feet don't fit in clown shoes. They tell you be yourself and then they judge you on the internet till everybody hates you for it.
Yep. Oh, just go be yourself. But when you hold a different opinion and you actually are yourself, oh my gosh, you're this, you're that way. No. What they mean is be a constructed self, be a superficial self, be a artificial self that will ingratiate you and satiate the desires and satiate the passions and satiate the standards of the masses. But Emerson says, no. There is nothing at last more sacred than the sanctity of your own mind. You are your own standard of value. You are the one. You are the one who decides who you are. Solitude. Solitude is the sweetness, the nectar of the great minds. Brilliant stuff.
Jesus was alive, I swear to God, they ever canceled. This lately being
Hey, what?
is the real new normal. Yeah, if you're thick, you're fat, you're rich, you're bad, you're poor, you're black, you're white, you're whack, they lie, it's facts.
If you're thick, you're fat. Jesus.
My generation needs a bunch of free condoms. Common sense ain't that common. This is what they want. This is how they plan it. This is to control everyone on the planet. Then we put each other in caskets, protest and panic, and they take advantage to manage the damage. We won't always agree. No, freedom doesn't come free. No, there was people fighting, dying overseas.
Freedom does not come free. Even though liberty is a part of your being, even though liberty is indicative in your human experience, that does not mean it costs nothing. Liberty, my friends, freedom costs a lot because you are in a world that constantly rebels against your freedom, rebels against your conscience, rebels against your free will. You know, Rousseau, Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a nuthead. He was a nut. I don't like him at all. But he said, man is born free but is everywhere thus in chains. While I don't believe in the totality of that statement, I do believe we're in a world that is constantly rebelling against our inherent freedom. Either through societal concepts, either through government actions, either through institutional policies. We are in a world that is rebelling against our individualism, rebelling against our freedom, rebelling against our wills, and that's a problem.
You can have freedom and be home. They think the elites are real, but they ain't drinking babies' blood. They're creating chaos so they have something to save you from. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation. This is setting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud, painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie, I can be around you. Anyone who knows me knows my feet don't fit in clown shoes.
Brilliant. We need more irreverent commentary like this in the world. Even if you don't agree with everything he says, Tom Macdonald is out here saying things that are essential, saying things that are necessary, saying things that are just shattering cultural paradigms, that are just shattering falsehoods, and making us reconsider our own preconceptions. Even if you hate Tom Macdonald, even if you disagree with Tom Macdonald, you have to recognize, you must recognize the importance of reevaluating yourself. That examined life that came out of that Socratic well of energy. That's that examined life that he said. You have to examine your life, my brother. You have to look at your preconceptions. You have to see if you are living in constancy with the truth. You have to see if you are living in constancy with your best self. You have to see if you are... You guys don't hear what I'm saying right now. Sometimes you need someone who is crude. Sometimes you need someone who is a little bit out there to make you see what your disposition is. Sometimes you need a different standard other than yourself to understand what you are going through, because you can only work with the concepts that you see in this world, the physical objects that you see in this reality, that you see in this world. Tom Macdonald is a prophet, man. Brilliant. I love it. Think on this video. Think on what he said to you. Now, my friends, again, if you like this content, subscribe, like, share, and please watch my other videos. I can only do reaction videos if you help me on the back end. So, think on it. And as always, my friends, I love you, and please stay pensive. Hey guys, if you enjoy this message, please be sure to support my channel through PayPal. My PayPal is @officialcwatson, as you see on the screen. Any amount helps. Thank you so much, and stay pensive.